Yo ho, yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We pillage, we plunder, we rifle and loot, drink up the hearties, yo ho. We kidnap and ravage and don't give a hoot, way out the eyes, yo ho.
Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be starting our week-long discussion of our Pirates of the Caribbean films. Today we're going to start with our first entry, and that's with Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl was released in 2003. This is actually the first PG-13 movie that was under Walt Disney Pictures. We've talked before how Touchstone Pictures was created so that Disney could release more adult-oriented films that were related to PG-13 and are underneath their studio, but it wasn't under the Walt Disney Pictures logo. This one was. And I remember it was interesting because this was one of the various theme park attractions that was based into a movie. But they advertised this like crazy, and they always advertised on TV where you best believe in ghost stories.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
That was always in the commercials, and it was just completely everywhere. I remember them pushing this movie hardcore. They had Johnny Depp on the movie Surface.
Johnny Depp has been in over 25 movies, and I got to hang out with him on the set of his latest film, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
And this is when I was starting to really recognize who Johnny Depp was. I was a fan of his growing up, but this was a time where I really started to appreciate him. And he was my favorite actor, and I liked his stuff, but I didn't realize how far back his stuff actually went and how long he's actually been in acting. And now half of his performances are my complete favorite movies, and he was my favorite actor before Tom Hiddleston is currently. So I do appreciate Johnny Depp a lot. He stars in this film. He really brought Captain Jack Sparrow to life, and if it wasn't for him, I feel like these movies still would be excellent, but they wouldn't be ongoing like they are today. And we also have Keira Knightley in this, as well as Orlando Bloom and Jeffrey Rush, and it's a complete amazing cast. It's really excellently done, and it still holds up today. It's been a while since I watched them, and after going back and watching this, I still honestly really enjoyed the story, and everything is put together so excellent. There's so many details in this film that they really paid amazing homage to the attraction. You have the dog with the keys by the jail.
Come on. Come on, you slimy mangy. No.
You have the people laying with the pigs in the sty, and just little details in the town that I never realized before, and now I'm just going back and like bravo, because they did pay so much attention to this film and they put so much heart into this film, and they did it correctly. This was definitely the first of our attraction-based films that really stay true to the ride and the attraction, because we talked about the Country Bears, and I love the Country Bears, but that was kind of very astray from what we had for the attraction. And we're going to talk about Haunted Mansion later on, but we already know that Haunted Mansion movie is nothing like the ride at all, so we'll get into that discussion later on. But I gotta say, for like the most well-known Disney attractions, and this one is a phenomenal attraction. Like, I have to ride this attraction every single time that I'm in Disney World and I'm in Magic Kingdom. And I'm still a little bitter about the redhead because I thought it was great, but I'm going to talk about that at the end a little bit more. Let's go and talk about the legit movie first. Like I said, Johnny Depp is literally the best thing about this movie. Captain Jack Sparrow is such a unique, wonderful, amazing character, and really helped bring the fun into the serious moments of this film. But honestly, this is the best introduction to any character ever. Nothing can beat this. This makes the movie. I remember back then I was impressed and thought it was the best entrance ever, but it literally is. Please tell me a movie that has a better entrance from any character compared to this. Leave it in the comments. Go ahead. I know I mentioned details from the ride, but the fact that you are in the Port Royale and you are going to Tortuga, and they have the Tortuga Tavern in Magic Kingdom and the Port Royale in Caribbean Beach. It's just really cool that they have so much relevance, and they did their job amazing. The screenwriters did their research, and I give them credit, and the director did his research and put together an amazing film. It's super action based. You have tons of amazing fight scenes between Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom. And other variations of the pirates. Barbossa's a really fun character, Geoffrey Rush's character, and they have a very, very solid story that they have to go and find the last doubloon from the Aztecs, so that way they won't curse anymore, because the members of the Black Pearl are completely cursed and they can't die, but when the moonlight hits them they turn into skeletons. And this sequence, even when Elizabeth Swann, she ends up faking her name to be Turner so she's not caught by them, because she's like the governor's daughter, so she's well known, and she just tries to play along when she gets captured and it's taken to the captain, and they think that she's the missing piece to them being uncursed, whereas it's Will's is the one, that's Orlando Bloom's character, and he's the one that gave this necklace to Elizabeth when they were young, and that's the last piece that they need in order for them to turn back. And the one sequence that they show themselves, remember this is 2003, CGI is still brand new at this point and they're still playing around with it, and they did a phenomenal job. This is amazing, and it really, really sets the intensity and the horror that you can imagine that she's living through, and it just really makes everything so relatable and relevant, and it puts you in the amazing story that they're telling. Not only that, but other effects they used. Everything was so creative, and they honestly made a fantastic film. The way the characters intertwine within each other and you first meet them and all the pieces start connecting within each other is awesome story writing, and everything connects right at the end. They have a lot of fun, they have their fun moments, but this one's a lot more serious in terms overall, but it works, and they did an amazing job. I have nothing but praise for this film, and I forgot how extraordinarily amazing this film is. We have the attraction Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's in basically every Disney park throughout the world. We have it in Paris, we have it in Disneyland and Disney World. I've only been on the Disney World version, but over this last year we did have the controversy of losing our famous redhead due to political correctness.
Belay there, you folks on swell.
I was not a fan of this choice. I didn't think it was needed. It's a piece of history, and this is how it was back then, and I felt like it was completely unnecessary to change what they did. It's just such a classic line of dialogue, honestly. We want the redhead! We want the redhead! Give us, show them your live side. We want the redhead! It just is classic, and I think of Magic Kingdom when I think of that. The new version I haven't been on yet. They changed this after my last trip, but from what I've seen in videos, it's not the same. It just seems like something's missing and it loses its spark in my opinion, because I knew how great the old ride was. But it's also interesting to talk about the attraction as a whole, because this is the first attraction where they had the ride without any additions from the movie beforehand, and then they took the movie and they put additions from the movie back into the ride. So this ride has gone through a lot of renovations, but it works. They actually, these movies are legendary enough that they are now immortalized within the ride. And it's really cool that they were able to do this and to spice things up. You have Barbossa right in the beginning.
Surrender, Captain Jack Sparrow.
And you have the mermaids, which we're going to be talking about later on because they're in later films. And Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow, is honestly one of the best characters that they came out with.
Do you know this song, Parrot? Feel free to join in it. I will love our mums and dads to go.
And he has a lot of fun playing the character, and we know that he has a lot of fun playing the character. He already did 5 films. And they do an excellent job with it, and I really feel like it's a very enjoyable ride. Tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at the second film on our series, and that's Dead Man's Chest. So stay tuned, and as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.